Hi, thanks for joining us for our March 30 COVID-19 bulletin. For those of you joining us for the first time, earlier bulletins from recent weeks are available on the Coast Community News website, along with all the latest news stories on the crisis. Today we have a further update on the virus from local district health, an update on the latest measures announced by Prime Minister Scott Morrison over the weekend, including new social restrictions and new spending initiatives. We have a local business story, and finally a few notices from Council. Okay, well, there were some hopeful signs that the rate of spread of the coronavirus, in New South Wales at least, may be moderating. But first, let's look at what's been happening here on the Central Coast. Local District Health advised us earlier today that the number of confirmed cases here on the Central Coast has risen to 90, an increase of 20 cases in the last 48 hours. That's down from an increase of 32 in the prior 48 hours. We've updated this chart for you, which shows the increase in cases since the first case was reported on March 13. The total number of tests conducted on the Central Coast is 3,808, implying a positive test rate of 2.36%. That's the third highest test rate, a positive test rate in the state, behind southeastern Sydney and northern Sydney. Now, this chart shows the number of confirmed cases in different regions across central New South Wales. Now, interestingly, across New South Wales, the number of new cases in the last 24 hours was 127, bringing the total to 1,918. These new cases are significantly less than the 174 reported for the 24 hours to Sunday morning, which in turn was less than the 210 cases in the 24 hours to Saturday morning. Now, authorities are reminding us that we need to remain vigilant in preventing the spread of the virus, but there is at least something in those numbers to be a little more cheerful about. Now to the latest update from Prime Minister Scott Morrison. Beginning Sunday night, the government has tightened the restriction on gatherings of people to just 2, down from the previous limit of 10. The Prime Minister explained this did not include members of a single household who, he says, can go outside together in a larger group. But if someone is not a member of your immediate household, then the limit is 2. And this was the message we saw being echoed by Father Rod Bauer earlier this morning. Now, the Prime Minister had strong advice for the elderly, as well as to clarify his definition of essential travel. This is what he had to say, courtesy of ABC News.
You must stay at home except for the following reasons. A. Shopping for what you need, food and other essential supplies that enable you to remain at home and to do that shopping as infrequently as possible. B. For medical care or compassionate needs. C. To exercise in compliance with the public gathering rules that I've already outlined. And D. For work and education if you cannot work or learn remotely. Also, we are going further this evening on the basis of the advice that there is strong advice, this is not a compulsion, this is strong advice, that people aged 70 and over should stay at home and self-isolate for their own protection.
Prime Minister also announced another $1.1 billion will be spent on telehealth services, emergency relief for important not-for-profit community services, mental health and domestic violence victim support services. He also announced a moratorium on the evictions of tenants. He went on to say that businesses, landlords and banks needed to work together and discuss revised arrangements, where landlords provide relief to their tenants and then in turn the banks provide loan relief to property owners, with the government ultimately providing support to the banks through previously announced measures. He added that rent relief would be at landlords' discretion, but that anyone who did not make concessions would be excluded from other support mechanisms. Finally, the government has also released a coronavirus app that provides a range of information for people about the virus. Now, in addition to those restrictions, the government today revealed a third set of measures to support small business and employment. Here's David Abrahams.
Thanks, Ross. Yes, we understand from Treasurer Josh Frydenberg's announcement this afternoon that businesses will receive a fortnightly wage subsidy of up to $1,500 per employee as part of the government's bid to prevent hundreds of thousands of further job losses. It is understood the payments will be backdated, potentially helping the thousands of employers who have already been stood down in recent times. This is different to the 80% wage replacement plan adopted by the UK, a move the government here says would have taken too long and would have been too complicated to set up. And time is of the essence, as we've already seen a very large number of businesses here on the Central Coast shut their doors and let go of staff. Despite a perception that the beer business is booming, the sector too is also experiencing some pretty major challenges as pubs and clubs have been shut down. I spoke earlier today with local brewer Chris Benson, the co-owner of Six Strings Brewery.
Yeah, well, there's still a small demand. Our production has dramatically decreased. We used to brew pretty much every day. Now it's every one. Yeah, this is the first time we didn't brew much at all, if any, last week. There's still a little, I wouldn't say a demand, but the customers like Coles and Woolworths, they're still making orders out there. So that's what we're hoping will keep us going.
And I understand you're changing some of your business practice to include private customers.
Yeah, that's true. We've got our online store up and running. We had to quickly get that up and working, which was a fun kind of little project, fun and stressful. But yeah, we rushed that. We've got that up and running now. So yeah, we offer free deliveries to customers on the Central Coast.
If you're planning on cleaning up the garage, you may be a little disappointed to hear that Council has closed public access to their waste facilities effective from today on Monday. Kincumber Waste Facility will be closed indefinitely, while Woy Woy and Buttonderry will remain open only to businesses and council contractors. Council has reminded people that council pickups and normal garbage pickups will operate as normal. Back to you, Ross.
Thanks, David. We have a short message from Joffa to say that Buff's Fox Terrier is perfectly happy. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, please visit our website and see the latest meeting notes from the Woy Woy Philosophers Society. It's in the Out and About section. That's all for today. I'm Ross Barry and I'll be back Wednesday afternoon for our next COVID-19 update.